Another day, another Christmas nail design. Today I'm starting this video off with my tester nail. I'm just showing you my process for this video that you don't normally see. For a lot of my nail designs, I actually like to do a tester first with a press-on nail and see how it turns out there and see if that's the design I want to go with. I'm just adding the red base coat onto there. I'm trying to get 2 layers onto there for a lot of my nail designs. I like to have 2 layers of the base color on there just to make sure that it's really opaque and you really see the color that was intended to show up. I find you don't have to do this for all nail polishes. A lot of them can look beautiful on their own. I mean, most of them do with just 1 layer. It's just not usually the look I'm intending to go for or the look that the brand was looking for. But that's all right. I love to do that a lot with some sheer colors just to kind of give a background color before my design. But it just really depends what you're looking for in your design. Now I'm going in and I'm going to add my nail decal. For this one, I decided to do a Grinch look. I absolutely adore the Grinch. The Grinch is probably my favorite movie ever for the holidays. I really love the original Jim Carrey, not Jim Carrey. I do love the Jim Carrey version. That is probably my favorite. And I love the original Dr. Seuss version. I haven't seen the newest one yet, but I'm hoping it's just as good as the other ones. But that's why I decided to do the cartoon from more of the original look, because that's what I love and that's the one I know the best. So I thought it would be fitting to put it on there. So I'm just carefully tapping on the Grinch and Cindy Lou, just a little tap, tap, tap to make sure they're on there. No air bubbles underneath the decals. And just to make sure they're not gonna move around too much on there. That's all. I think overall this looks quite good. I was worried a little bit about the box. Oh, I'm adding some glitter onto there. The present box. Because it's red, or kind of red. And then her dress is pink. And I was worried about having those on there with the red background. I didn't want Cindy Lou to get lost in the nail. But now I can go in, now that I'm pretty confident she's going to stand out, I can add my red base coat to the rest of my nails and kind of just go from there. And hopefully it'll look just as good as it did on the practice nail. That is one thing I do find pretty difficult because practice nails, or at least the ones I use, are clear. And my nails aren't exactly clear. They have obviously the kind of pinky color at the bottom where my nail bed is. And then they're kind of white and a bit stained at the top of my nails where they grew out. So it's not exactly the same as it'll look on the press-on nail. But that's okay. We try and make it look just as good as it would have looked. And just work with it from there. This can also be solved by adding extra layers of color onto your nail. Like if it doesn't look as opaque as it does on the practice nail sitting down, because there's less light getting through, then just add an extra layer on there. It's no big deal. You just do the best you can. And I am just adding my clear base. This is where I went a little bit rogue. I decided not to do the Grinch decals on this one. I go a little bit rogue sometimes as I'm doing these things. I just change my design completely. And that's what happened here. So instead I decided to do some Christmas wreaths and little bows. And as you can see, I'm just carefully trying to press it on there, make sure everything turns out a bit straight and isn't too crooked on the nail. It's okay if that happens, it's not a big deal. You can keep adjusting it for a little while before it dries onto the nail. You just have to be very careful and move it very slowly. And there you go. I do have extra that I'm going to have to peel off, or I guess kind of cut off at the end, but that is a-okay. No worries there. I'm adding a clear coat onto my thumb so I can add another decal onto there. And it looks pretty covered, so now I'm going to add on my nail decal. It was soaking in water for a few seconds, And now I'm just going to add it on to my fingernail. Just kind of carefully placing it, I guess putting it into place. Placing it on my nail where I want it. Unfortunately, this one was a little bit too small for my thumb, but we are going to try and make it work. I find when this happens, the best way to deal with it is to try and put it in the middle of your thumb, in your fingernail, or wherever you're going to put it, and just kind of let it have a little bit extra on each side, because especially for those people like me who have the C curves, it won't be as noticeable to other people. They won't notice it, they'll only see the top part or at the round of the nail. And I find that's just, it works easier. You don't have to explain it to people. If you push it over to one side more, it's easier to tell, and people will ask questions about that, unfortunately. And I'm just going in with my second coat of red, just to try and make sure it's opaque and really covers. I really like the way this one is turning out. I think the bows and the wreath look really nice with that red color. I think it's because they have the red on there as well, and it just kind of ties everything together. I am going to have to do a Grinch look again, because I absolutely adore the Grinch. But this is how they turned out. Let me know what you think, or if there's other nail designs you want to see in the future, either holiday ones or anything else, and I'd be happy to show you. Oh, I'm going in for another coat. I clearly didn't think that it was opaque enough when I first showed you. So I'm just adding a little bit more on there. And you can't see, but I am trying to fix it up, get rid of any of the extra nail polish, and that's okay. You can always decide that you like the look, and then when you see it off of whatever you're designing, because right now my hand is against that piece of wood right there, and when I move it, more light can shine through and I can really see the opacity of the design I put on there. So it really shows you whether or not you want to add that extra layer, and that's fine. You can always make that decision to add an extra one, although it is hard to go against that. And this is how it turned out. Thank you so much for watching.